Okay, welcome to Doris's Kitchen. Today we're going to make two-sided curtains. Okay, to show you how easy it really is to make curtains, because it's kind of expensive doing this, just buying them from the store and everything. What you used to buy one panel for is more than the cost of two panels, so we're going to make curtains today. So first thing you want to do is cut this extra piece that they always have at this side of the material, because that throws your measurements all off. So that's the first thing you do. Throw that out. Okay, because I'm doing one window, I'm making my two panels. They will be double-sided and stuff. If you watch my View With Me 2 channel, you'll see with the little girl, the 3-year-old, well 4 now, she just had her 4th birthday, helped to paint her own bedroom. And she wanted really orange. So it's an orange bedroom. So this curtain will help to add brightness and dress it all up. So I've made a lot of curtains, so I'm getting good at this. Okay, so what we did was we bought 1.5 yards because our window's rather small and everything. 44 by 27 or 30, something like that. So we're making the double panels. So move your material according to whatever your size window is, because sometimes you can just go the length this way or you can go that way. It depends on the size of your window and everything. Okay, so I removed that one piece and stuff, cut that right in half. This is 1.5 yards. One of the things that is very important when you do curtains is iron, iron, iron. So after you cut it, you want to make both ends meet. You want to iron it so your seam's right there, so that when you do iron, it's not, you know, oh, I'm just, you know, putting them both together. You want it to be flat. You want it pressed, so that when you do your sewing, everything's going to come out nice and even. Okay, so we've already done this one. What I did was, you know, this side is just folded. But I will sew, as you notice, this is the side that's folded. I will still sew it, you know, my 1/2 inch here. Because of design, it would look better instead of just having the bottom and the top. And also because when you wash it, you know, it's nice to do a double-sided, but when you wash, sometimes it loses its shape. So this helps to strengthen that shape, so it'll keep its shape and everything. One thing when you have a design like this is you want to make sure the flowers are going the right way, which you have some going one way and some the other, so I went with what was the most to make sure that that would be my top. Okay, so we did go all the way around to straighten it. You don't do it right here when you're doing it here, because then you're losing some of your width, and you don't want to be losing none of that. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. And when we do our tops, now if you're doing just a single curtain, then you will just fold it over and do like I did here, where you just press 1/2 inch in, then you fold it over, and then you'll sew. Okay, so it'd be like pressing 1/2 inch, then rolling it again for another 1/2 inch, press it, and then sew. Okay, if you're doing a single panel. And if you're doing the long ones, the 64 inches or 72 and stuff, you're going to want to start with your top. I can do my bottom on this one because it's a short window and I'm not really going to be off. And when you do this one, before you do your top for your other piece, you're going to want to line them up together, because if there's any correction to be made, you know, 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, this is where you'll make it, is on the top when you fold it over. Because what you're going to do here is I'm going to be sewing right here, and that's your bottom. Then I'm going to have 2 inches. If you notice, I got a red mark there because I do a lot of curtains. There's my 2-inch mark, because the top of the curtain should always have 2 inches. So I did 1/2 inch, fold it over, okay, and this is what I'm going to be sewing right now. Then you press it, then I'm going to sew that to give my bottom that I need. Okay, then I'm going to go 2 inches here. Your rod's only 3/4 of an inch, and then with the circle that goes around, you need 1 inch. So this way here, I'll have 1.5 inches, because I used 1/2 inch here, and then I used 3.5 here. So you have a total of 4 inches that you need for your top. Okay, and if you're doing the long curtains, you're going to want to do your top in a single panel, you know, not a double-sided, just a single side. You're going to want to do your top first. Then from there, you will measure your 64 inches and pin up your hem, you know, to be doing your hemming. That's how you do the long ones. But right now I'm doing a short one, so I'm doing it this way, and I want it double-sided just so that it's a little bit warmer because I'm in Maine and it's winter. So I like my curtains, especially for a little girl's room, to be a little bit warmer, hold maybe a little bit of the draft that might come in through a window. Okay, so the main important thing is iron, iron, iron. You see I iron there. Then when I flip it over, I'm going to want to iron to make sure that this here, where I sewed on the side going up, will be exactly halfway. So you don't have like a big overlap showing from one side to the other. Okay? So you're going to want to do that. You're going to have a little bit when you sew because it's sitting in and everything, but you don't want a whole lot. So if you turn around and iron it, then you're all set. And then after that, just lay it out like that, and then you want to iron this side here because remember, you're still going your 1/2 inch all the way around, you know, for the security when you're doing a double. Okay? So this is where we're at. I also have over there a pair of pants. In the wintertime, you know, if they wear the knees out and everything in your pair of pants, cut them right off at the knee and then hem them up. And you have yourself, I'm going to sew it, then fold it over like I did here. First sew, then fold it over another 1/2 inch, and then just hem it. So that's how you make do with pants that wear out at the knees. They can always be shorts in the summer. Okay, so let's get going on doing this. Okay, and you're going to find this little gadget that comes with the sewing machine to be a very handy tool. Especially when you're doing the 5/8, even though it's marked 5/8, and people say, well, I don't need to because it's already marked. You do. Okay, now when I'm doing this one here, I'm going to want to put it right on the line because I just want that small sewing, even with your pedal here. Okay, so make sure the pedal is right there, right underneath, and there you go. That's going to be your sewing. I'm going to back sew. Always back sew when you're at the edges and stuff. That gives it extra strength. This is a very old sewing machine. I've had it 42 years. So it's not going to be your modern stuff, but hey, sure makes an awful lot of curtains. Go. So now we have that. Always cut the extra strings because you don't ever want them to get caught up inside here because then it messes everything up. Always reorganize afterwards. Take these pins out. So see, now I have my 3.5 inch. And now because I've already marked the many curtains I do, because I do more curtains than I do clothes repair. If you get really good at this, everybody will ask you because it's just so expensive in the store. Okay, so I have my red line. Might need to remake it because it looks like it's starting to wear out. Always want to make sure they're hanging out that back. And it's so easy to make curtains, you know. Go and find this. Every time you go to your yard sale, material store and everything, or even Walmart and stuff, there's always a clearance rack. So check what there is at the clearance rack and see if that'll match with what you're trying to accomplish, you know, whatever color you want for your room. This here was on sale, so it worked out really good. What's on sale for this material was $5, but still. So for $7.50, because I bought a yard and a half, I'm making curtains. You can't even buy one panel for that today. So, there you go. Alright, so here she has, I'll put my rod right through. Got plenty of room for your rod. There's 1.5 inches. All you really need is a good inch, but you need the other half because of shrinkage. But you always need your top to be 2 inches. Make sure your top is a 2-inch top. It just looks prettier that way. And a lot of people wonder, how much do I put on top? 2 inches. So when you do your curtain, you need a whole 4 inches. Count 4 inches when you're cutting your material that you're going to need just for your top. Half to fold over so you can sew. And then 3.5 this way here, because you need 2 inches on top and you need your rod. Alright, so that's the end of this one panel. So she's got one panel made right here. We gotta keep making these. Get her room all done here. Alright, so let me show you how we start the very beginning. Now when you sew around, when you go to flip it over, you know, to iron and everything, even though you iron this one to be this way, when you go the other way, you're going to need to re-iron that. But also when you come across and you iron down and across, you're going to want to cut this corner. Because when you flip it over, you don't want that big knotty end right there. Okay? So on this here, this is where you can come, because if you want perfection, this is where you'll come. You'll put this right on your 5/8. Because all seams need to be 5/8. You put that right on there. And then when you're sewing, you're going to want to keep making sure your material is straight, especially when you're doing this one. Because sometimes one layer will slide a little bit more. And if it keeps doing that a little bit more and a little bit more, you end up with not very good by the time you're done. There we go. Okay, now if I'm right, I already checked this, so that this is my top. And then we just go ahead. See how simple it is to make curtains? This one's a double-sided to top it off. Always stop to make sure you try to keep this even, because if you start going a little crooked, you're not going to come out right. Whole bunch of little tricks you learn, but you know, you can do it. You know, even if you don't have a sewing machine, a lot of people still do it all by hand, and you can do that. It's just more time consuming. girl's gonna be so happy. And what I'm going to do is when I flip it over, before I sew, I decide which end's going to be the top and which end's going to be the bottom. Well, I mean, not so much which one's going to be the top or end, but which way I'm going to flip it. Whether the material goes this way or that way and everything. I'm going to want to make sure the flowers, you know, like the same design flowers, like pick a flower, and make sure they're both like facing each other, you know, for when you put it on the panel for the window and stuff. And you'll see what I mean when I do the cover picture, because when I put it up on the rod in her room along with her orange, I'll take a picture and I'll put that as my cover picture so you can see the finishing end of it. She had to wait all weekend because I said, I'll make the curtains on Monday. And boy, I tell you, she's really been after me. I made my curtains today, Mimi. See, those are the things you can do when you're a grandma. You have the time. I have made so many curtains lately, it's unreal. Plus I made long ones. This is the first time I've made a short one like this. I did make a few for a door before. And my corners, I give it an extra little double stitch too. Only because you're going to be cutting the material diagonally. Even though when you turn it around and you give it, you know, that extra sewing going all the way around, you're already straightening it, so you don't really have to worry. But you never know with the washing machine, you know. And you know how sometimes you buy something and the seam seems to come undone? We don't want none of that. Nobody wants to have to sew anything by hand if they don't have to. Just do it right the first time. Always cut your extra strings as soon as you're done. You don't ever want that to end up jamming up your sewing machine. That's just a pain in the butt. Alright, now what you want to do is find that one corner where you had the seam. Now if you notice, I did not sew down this one because I'd be losing some of my width if I did that. But I will sew it when I flip it over for design purposes and strength, but not now because, you know, that would be a lost piece of material and I need every bit I can get. Alright, so you're going to turn around and just cut your corner here before you flip it over. And that's all you get to waste. And you flip it over, and the trick, remember, to everything is iron, iron, iron. Alright, then we'll have another panel and we'll be able to put it up. So I'll show you on the top picture what it's going to look like. Now go ahead and put your hands right in there and get your corner in there really good. Got to get that corner in there real good. There, see? See how nice that is? Okay, put your other corner in. There we go. All right, now you're going, when you iron this, you're going to want to just iron, just go like that. Do piece by piece as you go to iron. And you go all around doing it. Okay, and then check with the other one to see whether you'll be going this way with it or this way with it. Make sure you design flowers. I want them all to greet each other nicely. All right, so, and you see the importance of making sure that after you've ironed this side here, and you have it. You see how that would be, you know, and you try to sew, it's round. That's why you need to re-iron it, because you had it the other way, nicely ironed. When you go here, make sure you iron. You know, once you get this whole side, the sewing side ironed, lay it flat. This will be nicely ironed to where it's right in the center. Because see, if you go and you sew, this is what you're going to end up with. Stuff like that. And you don't want that. So iron. Ironing makes all the difference. Because as each, you know, collect a little bit at a time. Put your hands in there and then start from the bottom and come up. Then when you're done with that, lay it flat. Go like that. Iron that side. Then you sew down, across, and up. And then do the top like I just showed you on that one. Okay? Hope you've enjoyed my video here. Be sure to sub me, join me as a friend, and go ahead. Make a curtain. And then leave me a comment and let me know how you done. Okay? And if you made a video, send it to me. Bye-bye now.